The Meridian glided through the darkness of space toward the massive station that housed the Galactic. Council Captain Daniel Harper stood on the bridge, watching the structure grow larger on the view screen. 5 years had passed since humanity joined the Council, and today marked their anniversary as junior members of the Galactic Community. Ambassador Nicole Grant entered the bridge carrying her datapad. She had reviewed the agenda 3 times already, but something felt wrong about this session. The Therorian Empire had submitted a proposal at the last minute, and the wording seemed deliberately vague. Ready for another round of diplomatic dancing? Harper asked without looking away from the view screen. Grant smiled, but her eyes showed concern. The Therorians are pushing for expansion into the Kepler sector. That puts them uncomfortably close to our colonies. How close? 3 systems away from New Haven, close enough to make me nervous. Harper finally turned to face her. His weathered features showed the kind of calm that came from years of command. Do we have legal grounds to object? The treaty is clear about expansion near member territories. We have every right to raise concerns. Grant paused and looked at her datapad again. I just hope they listen, Dr. Lauren. Mitchell arrived on the bridge moments later. The young xenobiologist practically bounced with excitement. Captain, Ambassador, I've been reviewing the cultural profiles of the species attending today. I think we have a real opportunity to strengthen our relationships with at least 4 different delegations. Harper appreciated her optimism, even if he did not share it. Mitchell represented the hope that had driven humanity to the stars, the belief that understanding could bridge any gap between species. He wished he could protect that innocence, but the galaxy had a way of teaching hard lessons. The docking procedure went smoothly, and soon the human delegation walked through the pristine corridors of the Council Station. Aliens of dozens of species moved past them, some nodded in greeting while others ignored the humans completely. The architecture reflected the Council's diversity, with sections designed for different environmental needs. The Council chamber was a massive spherical room with platforms arranged in concentric circles. Each species had their designated space equipped with appropriate atmosphere and gravity. The human platform sat in the outer ring, a position that reflected their junior status. High Counselor Vexter called the session to order. His reptilian features showed no emotion as he worked through the standard agenda. Trade disputes were mediated. Resource allocations were approved. Scientific exchanges were scheduled. Everything proceeded with bureaucratic efficiency until a Therorian proposal came up for discussion. General Krath rose from his delegation's platform. His insectoid form towered over most other species. Multiple limbs gestured as he spoke in the clicking language of his people. The translation came through clearly in everyone's earpieces. The Therorian Empire seeks permission to establish presence in the unclaimed Kepler sector. This region offers valuable resources and strategic positioning. We have surveyed the area and found it suitable for colonization. Ambassador Grant activated her platform's speaking system. The Galactic Council recognizes the human delegation. Grant stood and addressed the chamber with practiced diplomacy. The Therorian proposal concerns humanity. The Kepler sector borders our colonial space. The treaty clearly states that expansion near member territories requires consultation and mutual agreement. We were not consulted. Vexter's expression shifted to something resembling amusement. Ambassador Grant raises a technical point, however. The Council must weigh various factors when considering expansion requests. General Krath clicked his mandibles in what humans had learned was the Therorian equivalent of laughter. Perhaps the humans fear competition. Their colonies are small, and their territorial claims modest. Surely they do not need such vast buffer zones. Grant kept her voice level. This is not about fear. This is about following the established treaties that govern all council members equally. Vexter leaned forward on his platform. His next words would echo in human memory for years to come. Ambassador Grant, The Council has studied your species extensively, your own historical records reveal a deep aversion to conflict. Your literature speaks of war's horrors. Your films depict its tragedies. Your cultural memory carries the weight of past violence. Like a burden, you dread war more than any species we have encountered. Other council members murmured agreement. Several nodded or made gestures of assent in their various ways. We have seen your peace movements, Vexter continued. Your protests against violence, your emotional responses to casualties. These things speak to your nature. The Therorians are a warrior species. They understand the realities of territorial dynamics in ways that humans perhaps cannot. Grant felt her face flush but maintained composure. Hi, Counselor. You misunderstand. Do I? Vexter interrupted. Your own military forces are small compared to galactic standards. You maintain minimal fleets. Your defensive capabilities are, forgive me, modest at best. These facts suggest a species that avoids conflict not from wisdom but from inability or perhaps unwillingness. General Krath seized the moment. The Council should not let human timidity prevent proper resource allocation. The Kepler sector will be developed better. It be developed by those willing to defend it. Mitchell whispered urgently to Grant. They think we're afraid. They're interpreting our restraint as weakness. Grant raised her voice. The Council is making a dangerous assumption humanity remembers. War, because we learned its true cost, that does not make us weak. It makes us careful. Vexter dismissed her words with a wave. Ambassador, no one questions your sincerity, but careful species do not survive on the galactic stage. The universe rewards strength. Perhaps when humanity evolves beyond its fears, you will understand these realities. The vote came swiftly. The Therorian expansion was approved with only 3 dissenting voices. Humanity, Ambassador Shiano's peaceful species, and 1 abstention. Grant's objections were recorded, but ultimately meaningless. As the session concluded, Ambassador Shiano approached the human delegation. Her gentle features showed genuine concern. Ambassador Grant, please hear my warning. The Council's contempt for your species has grown dangerous. They see only your surface. They do not understand what lies beneath. Grant thanked her, but the words felt hollow as they walked back to the Meridian. Harper noticed Commander Ryan Blake waiting at the airlock. The security chief's expression told him everything he needed to know. You heard? Harper asked. Blake nodded. The whole station heard. Vexter didn't exactly use private channels, Captain. We need to talk about defensive postures. Back on the bridge, Harper sent an encrypted message to Earth Command. The situation at the Council had deteriorated beyond diplomatic solutions. Grant slumped in a chair, her usual grace replaced by exhaustion. Mitchell tried to maintain hope. Maybe we can still reach an understanding if we explain our history better. They don't want to understand, Blake said quietly. They want to believe we're weak because it makes their expansion easier. Understanding would complicate things. Harper looked at the view screen where the Council station was shrinking behind them. Somewhere out there, Therorian ships were already moving toward the Kepler sector, toward human space, toward colonies filled with families who had trusted that the Council would protect them. Get me Admiral Cole on secure channels, Harper ordered. Earth needs to know that our restraint has been mistaken for fear, and that mistake is about to cost us in the darkness between stars. Therorian warships accelerated toward their objectives. General Krath reviewed his fleet's positions with satisfaction. The humans would learn their place soon enough, and if they resisted, while teaching fearful species their limitations was almost enjoyable. The galaxy was about to receive an education, but not the one Vexter expected. 3 weeks passed since the disastrous Council session, and the find that he had situation in the Kepler sector had grown worse with each passing day. Therorian ships moved through the disputed space with aggressive confidence. Their military stations appeared on scanners uncomfortably close to human Colony's warnings were ignored, communications were jammed, and the frontier settlers watched the skies with growing anxiety. New Haven Colony was home to 50,000 human settlers, families who had traveled light years to build new lives on a world of blue grass and purple skies. Colony Administrator Kevin Walsh sent daily reports to Captain Harper, describing the escalating harassment, close flybys that rattled windows, weapons locks. That lasted just long enough to be threatening deliberate interference with communications satellites. The alarm Mitchell had traveled to New Haven 3 weeks earlier to study the local ecosystem. She found herself trapped when the Therorians began their intimidation campaign. The colony's small research station became her temporary home while she waited for the situation to resolve. She tried to maintain her optimistic outlook, but even she could feel the tension building. The incident happened on a Tuesday morning by Earth calendar. A civilian transport shuttle was ferrying families from the outlying settlements to the main colony. 23 people aboard, including 8 children. The pilot was Lisa Chun, a veteran shuttle operator who had made this run hundreds of times. Therorian patrol ships intercepted the shuttle without warning. Weapons charged, targeting systems active. The shuttle's emergency beacon screamed across all frequencies. Therorian vessel. This is civilian transport, Haven 7. We are unarmed. We are carrying families. Please respond. Lisa's voice stayed calm, despite the fear coursing through her veins. The Therorian commander's response came in harsh clicks. Human craft. You fly in Therorian space, submit to inspection. This is recognized human territory under Galactic Council. The weapons fire cut off. Lisa's protest. Plasma bolts tore through the shuttle's port engine. The craft spun wildly as Lisa fought. To maintain control, screams filled the passenger compartment as parents grabbed their children. Emergency systems blared warnings. Hull integrity dropped to dangerous levels. Lisa managed to stabilize the shuttle and execute an emergency landing. In an open field, the craft hit hard metal. Scream systems failed, but they were down and mostly intact. She ran to the passenger compartment to check on everyone. Most passengers had minor injuries, cuts from broken panels, bruises from the rough landing, but one child, a 6-year-old girl named Megan Foster, had been thrown against the bulkhead. Blood covered her face. Her left arm bent at an unnatural angle. Her mother, Sarah Foster, held her and screamed for help. The Therorian ship circled overhead once then departed without offering assistance. Their commander sent a single message. Navigation error, unfortunate accident. Humans should avoid flight paths near Therorian operations. Kevin Walsh mobilized every medical resource in the colony. Dr. Mitchell rushed to the crash site with the emergency teams. Her hand shook as she helped stabilize Megan for transport. The child's eyes looked up at her with confused pain. Why did they shoot us? Megan whispered. We didn't do anything wrong. Mitchell had no answer that would make sense to a 6-year-old. She held the child's hand during the transport to the medical center, watched as the doctors worked to repair the damage, and felt something cold settle in her chest where optimism used to live. Captain Harper received the news while the Meridian was 3 days away from New Haven. He read the report twice, then looked at Commander Blake. How many injured? 3 serious, including the child, 20 others with minor injuries. No fatalities, but it's close. Harper's jaw tightened. Get me Ambassador Grant on secure channels, then get me Earth Command. It's time we stopped asking politely. Ambassador. Grant's response to the Galactic Council was diplomatic fury wrapped in formal protocol. She demanded emergency session, immediate investigation, accountability for the attack, reparations for the victims, and formal censure of the Therorian Empire. The Council's response arrived 6 hours later. Vexthorus' message was brief and dismissive. Accidents occur in frontier space. The Therorians have provided explanation. The humans should consider relocating to safer regions if they cannot accept the inherent dangers of colonial expansion. This matter is closed. Grant read the message 3 times. Each reading made her angrier. She forwarded it to Earth without comment because no comment was necessary. The Council had made its position clear: human lives did not matter, human objections would not be heard, and human weakness would be exploited on Earth. Fleet Admiral Brandon Cole convened a Security Council in an underground complex beneath Geneva. The world's military and political leaders gathered in the secure conference room. Holographic displays showed the Kepler sector, Therorian fleet positions, human colonies, and the expanding zone of harassment. They think we're afraid, Cole said without preamble. They've studied our history, seen our peace movements, read our literature about war's horrors, and concluded that we dread conflict because we're weak. President Amanda Sterling leaned forward. Are they wrong to think we prefer peace? Preferring peace is wisdom, Cole replied, but they're confusing preference with inability. They think restraint equals weakness, that we keep our military small because we can't build larger forces, that we avoid conflict because we can't win conflicts. Defense Minister Carlos Hunt pulled up casualty reports from the shuttle attack. A 6-year-old girl has a fractured skull and broken arm because Therorian thugs decided to send a message. How do we respond without escalating to open war? Cole's expression hardened. We draw a line. We make it absolutely clear that human territory is not negotiable, and we demonstrate that our restraint is a choice, not a limitation. The orders went out within the hour. Task Force Guardian would deploy to the Kepler Sector 5 warships, led by the Excalibur under Captain Justin Cross. Their mission was clear: protect human interests. Do not fire first, but respond with overwhelming force. If attacked again, the Excalibur was not humanity's largest warship, but it represented everything humans had learned from centuries of naval warfare translated to the Starsleek lines: redundant systems, weapons designed for maximum efficiency, and a crew trained to standards that would have made ancient Spartans proud. Captain Cross briefed his officers in the ship's conference room. The Therorians think we're soft. They think our emotional response to war means we can't fight effectively. They're about to learn the difference between dreading war and being unable to wage it. Meanwhile, General Croth reviewed intelligence reports about the human response. The deployment of 5 ships amused him. His fleet in the sector numbered 30 warships. The humans were either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. They send toy boats to challenge the Therorian Empire. He clicked to his officers. Perhaps we should seize their mining outposts, take some hostages, teach them proper respect. His tactical officer hesitated. General, the human ships are moving with unusual precision. Their formation is sophisticated. Krath waved away the concern. Sophistication means nothing against superior numbers. Prepare the fleet. We will take Outpost 7 and force the humans to acknowledge Therorian dominance in this sector. The Therorian battle fleet began moving toward the human mining outpost. 12 warships against a single defense platform and 2 patrol vessels. Krath expected surrender within minutes. The humans would see sense when confronted with overwhelming force at New Haven Colony. Dr. Mitchell sat with Megan Foster in the medical center. The child was stable, but would need weeks of recovery. Her mother had not left her side since the attack. Will there be more fighting? Sarah Foster asked Mitchell quietly. Mitchell looked at the woman's exhausted face, at the bandages on her daughter's head, at the fear and anger mixing in her eyes, and gave the only honest answer she could. Yes, I think there will be, but this time we won't be asking permission to defend ourselves. Outside the medical center, Commander Blake coordinated with Colonial Security Forces. The Meridian had arrived, and Harper was establishing defensive positions. Civilian transports were being restricted to secure corridors. Evacuation plans were being updated, and Blake's security teams were preparing for the possibility of ground assault. Excalibur and its escort ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. Their arrival was noticed immediately by both human and Therorian sensors. Captain. Cross-broadcast on all frequencies. Attention all vessels. This is Captain Justin Cross of the Earth warship. Excalibur human territory in this sector is hereby under active protection. Any hostile action against human assets will be met with immediate military response. General Krath received the message and laughed. The clicking sound filled his flagship's bridge. The humans threaten us. How delightful. Continue toward Outpost 7. We will show them what real warships look like. The Therorian fleet accelerated toward the mining outpost. Sensors showed the two human patrol ships moving to intercept. The defense platform powered up its weapons. The miners evacuated to underground shelters. Krath opened a channel to the outpost. Human installation. You are surrounded. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. You have 10 minutes to comply. Outpost Commander Jacob Martinez responded with surprising calm. Therorian fleet. We decline your generous offer. This is human territory. You are trespassing. Withdraw. Immediately. Krath's amusement faded. The Therorian plasma barrage lit up the darkness around Outpost 712 warships firing in coordinated volleys, enough firepower to vaporize a small moon. The display of force should have ended the engagement in seconds. The two human patrol ships, designated Guardian 1 and Guardian 2, did not explode as expected. Instead, they moved. Their engines flared with sudden acceleration. Trajectories shifted in ways that seemed to defy physics. The ships split apart and came at the Therorian formation from different angles. Commander Lisa Hayes commanded Guardian 1 from her compact bridge. Her crew numbered only 12, but each person knew their job with absolute precision. Weapons. Target-led ship shield emitters engines. Keep us in their lateral blind spot communications. Coordinate with Guardian 2. The Therorian commander of the lead warship watched his sensors with growing confusion. Where did they go? How? Are ships that small moving so fast? His tactical officer's response came with unusual hesitation. Commander, they are exploiting our firing arcs. They move like atmospheric fighters. Our weapons cannot track them at these angles. Guardian 1's railgun spoke with brutal efficiency. Solid projectiles accelerated to a fraction of light speed. No fancy energy shields to slow them down, just kinetic force applied with surgical precision. The rounds punched through Therorian shields like they were paper. The lead Therorian ship shield emitters exploded in sequence. Protective barriers collapsed. Follow-up shots from Guardian 2 struck the exposed hull armor. Plating designed to stop energy weapons crumpled under kinetic impact. The massive warship listed as its maneuvering systems failed. What are those weapons? The Therorian commander screamed. How are primitive kinetic rounds penetrating our shields? His tactical officer pulled up the data with shaking appendages. Commander, the humans, they designed their shields to stop what we use, but their weapons are optimized against energy-focused defenses. Our shields are not calibrated for. Another salvo from Guardian 1 ended the explanation. The Therorian warship's main reactor went critical. The crew evacuated in escape pods as their ship tore itself apart from internal explosions. General Krath watched from his flagship in stunned disbelief. One of his warships destroyed in under 3 minutes by 2 patrol craft. Impossible. Humans were supposed to be weak, fearful, inexperienced in war. All ships, concentrate fire on those patrol vessels. I want them obliterated now. But concentration required hitting targets that refused to stay still. The human ships moved with coordinated grace. Every maneuver seemed calculated. When one ship drew fire, the other attacked from an unexpected angle. When the Therorians adjusted their formation, the humans had already exploited the gap. Outpost 7's defense platform added its voice to the battle-massive railguns that made the patrol ships' weapons look like toys. The platform had been anchored to a small Asteroid stable firing position, unlimited ammunition from the mining. Operation below and targeting systems refined through centuries of human military research. The platforms. First salvo crippled 2 Therorian ships. The second salvo disabled a third. Krath's mighty fleet was being systematically dismantled by forces they had dismissed as insignificant. General, we need to withdraw. Regroup. His first officer clicked urgently. No. Krath's mandibles clicked with fury. We outnumber them. We have superior technology. This is impossible. General, look at their tactics. Every movement serves a purpose. Every shot hits critical systems. They fight like they have done this for thousands of years. Commander Martinez watched the battle from Outpost 7's command center. His mining engineers had become impromptu tactical observers. They watched human warfighting doctrine in action and understood what the galaxy was about to learn. They're not just shooting at them, one engineer whispered. They're dismantling them like surgeons. Martinez nodded. Every human weapon system represents centuries of optimization. We are not more advanced than the Therorians. We are more experienced. We perfected the art of killing each other before we ever left Earth. The tactical display showed new contacts appearing at the edge of the system. The Excalibur and its task force had arrived. Captain Justin Cross stood on his bridge watching the ongoing battle with professional assessment. Analysis, he ordered calmly. His tactical officer provided the summary. Guardian 1 and 2 have disabled or destroyed 4 Therorian vessels. Outpost 7's defense platform accounts for 3 more. Therorian fleet is attempting to reform, but their formation is compromised. Recommend we end this quickly. Cross nodded. Open channel to Therorian fleet, all frequencies. The communication went out across every bandwidth. Therorian fleet. This is Captain Justin Cross of the Earth warship. Excalibur, you have attacked human civilians. You have fired upon our outpost. You will cease all hostile actions immediately and withdraw from this sector. Failure to comply will result in your complete destruction. You have 60 seconds to respond. General Krath's pride warred with his survival instinct. The human captain's voice carried no anger, no excitement, just cold professional certainty, like a mechanic explaining how he would disassemble an engine. Human captain, you are outnumbered. We still have 8 operational warships. You bring only 5. Cross interrupted. General, you began this engagement with 12 ships. You now have 7 capable of fighting, and one of those is your damaged flagship. We can track your power signatures. You have 45 seconds to withdraw. Krath made his fatal mistake. He ordered his remaining ships to attack the human task force. Pride and disbelief overrode tactical sense. The Therorians could not accept that primitive humans were defeating them. What followed was not a battle. It was a demonstration. The human task force moved as a single entity. Every ship knew exactly where the others would be firing. Solutions were calculated with ruthless precision. The humans did not waste a single shot. The Excalibur's main gun spoke, and a Therorian heavy cruiser lost its entire weapons array. Guardian 3 and 4 worked in concert to disable 2 more ships. The task force's support vessels moved to protect damaged human patrol craft while maintaining offensive pressure. Cross stood calmly on his bridge, issuing orders in a steady voice. Target their engines. I want them stranded, not destroyed. Disable their communications. Separate their command structure weapons. Focus on the flagship. Make General Krath watch his fleet fall apart. The Therorian tactical officer pulled up human weapon specifications and finally understood. General, every one of their systems is designed for one purpose: destroying other ships, not exploration, not research, not colonization, pure military function evolved through countless iterations. How many wars? Krath demanded. How many wars has this species fought? The tactical officer's appendages trembled as he accessed the human database. Thousands. General, thousands of wars spanning their entire Recorded history. They have been refining the art of warfare since before they discovered fire. A direct hit from the Excalibur knocked out the flagship's main power backup system struggled. To compensate, life support flickered gravity. Fluctuated Krath's bridge crew worked frantically to maintain basic functions. Crosses. Voice came through the emergency channels. General Krath. Your flagship is disabled. 6 of your remaining ships are inoperable. 1 is retreating. At maximum speed, you have lost surrender. Now and we will retrieve your crews. Continue resisting, and we will leave you drifting in the dark. Krath looked at his tactical display. 8 of his 12 ships were destroyed, or disabled. His flagship was crippled. The human forces had barely been scratched. Total engagement time was less than 30 minutes. How? He clicked weakly. How? We have superior numbers, advanced technology. Cross's response came with a hint of something that might have been sadness. General, you made one fundamental error. You assumed that because we dread war, we cannot wage it. But humans dread war precisely because we know how devastatingly good we are at it. We remember because we cannot afford to forget. The Therorian general finally understood. Humans did not fear war because they were weak. They feared it because they had mastered it so completely that they knew exactly what it cost. We surrender. Krath clicked. We surrender, please. Our crews. Assistance is already en route. Cross replied, all ships. Begin search and rescue operations. I want every Therorian survivor found and treated. We make war when we must, but we do not abandon the helpless. Commander Ryan Blake coordinated the rescue from the Meridian. Human ships moved through the debris field, retrieving Therorian escape pods. Medical teams treated injured aliens with the same care they would give their own. It was one final lesson for the Therorians. Humans could kill with efficiency, but chose mercy when possible. Mitchell watched the rescue operations from New Haven's orbital view. She had seen the battle through the colony's sensors, watched human ships move with deadly grace, and realized that her optimistic view of humanity had been incomplete. Sarah Foster stood beside her with Megan sleeping in a medical bed nearby. Is it over? Mitchell nodded slowly. This part is over, but I think the galaxy just learned something about us, something we tried to tell them with words, but had to show them with actions. News of the battle spread through Galactic Council networks at the speed of light. Fragmentary reports, sensor recordings, and one clear message from General Krath's damaged flagship. Do not underestimate the humans. They dread war because they understand it. The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened within 18 hours of the battle. Every member species sent representatives. The massive chamber buzzed with dozens of languages being translated. Simultaneously, fear and confusion mixed with curiosity and anger. Ambassador Nicole Grant entered the chamber, flanked by Captain Harper, Dr. Mitchell, and Commander Blake. She walked with purpose toward the human platform. Her diplomatic patience had been exhausted, but her resolve remained unshaken. High Counselor Vexter stood at the center platform. His reptilian features showed unusual uncertainty. This council convenes to address the recent military engagement in the Kepler sector. Ambassador Grant. The council demands explanation for human aggression against Therorian forces. Grant activated her speaking system, but did not stand. She let the silence stretch for a long moment. Before responding, her voice carried across the chamber with cold precision. The council demands explanation? Her words cut through the murmuring. The council sat silent when Therorians attacked our civilian shuttle, injured our children, ignored our territorial rights, and threatened our colonies. But now the council demands explanation when we defended ourselves? Vexter's posture stiffened. The reports indicate 8 Therorian warships were destroyed or disabled. This represents a massive escalation. The reports also indicate that Therorians fired first. Grant interrupted. They attacked an unarmed mining outpost. threatened to take hostages, and refused to withdraw. When given the opportunity, everything that followed was proportional response to their aggression. A thought counselor from the Nexian collective spoke up, his crystalline form pulsing with agitation. But Ambassador, the sheer efficiency of human victory suggests military capability far beyond what you disclosed during membership proceedings. Some might call this deception. Grant finally stood. Her full height might not match the towering aliens around her, but her presence filled the chamber. We never deceived anyone. You deceived yourselves. You studied our culture and drew conclusions that confirmed your assumptions. You saw what you wanted to see. Explain. Vexter demanded. Grant gestured to Dr. Mitchell. Dr. Mitchell will provide the historical context that the Council apparently missed during its cultural assessments. Mitchell rose with her datapad, but she did not look at it. She had memorized these facts years ago, studied them as part of understanding her own species. Now she shared them with an alien audience that had fundamentally misunderstood humanity. The Galactic Council reviewed human history and saw our wars, saw our emotional responses to casualties, saw our peace movements and anti-war literature, and concluded we were a timid species. But you stopped reading too soon. She activated the chamber's holographic display. Images appeared above the center. Platform battlefields from Earth's history trenches, filled with mud and blood, cities reduced to rubble mushroom, clouds rising over obliterated populations. World War I lasted 4 years. 9 million soldiers died. Entire generations were destroyed. We learned to wage industrial warfare, to mobilize entire populations for destruction, to create weapons specifically designed for mass killing. The images shifted. Mechanized warfare tanks rolling across devastated landscapes, bomber formations, darkening skies, naval battles across vast oceans. World War II killed 70 million people, civilian and military. We created weapons that could level cities in single strikes. We developed tactics for urban warfare, submarine campaigns, strategic bombing. We perfected logistics that could supply armies across continents and oceans. The alien counselors watched in growing silence. The scale of human conflict exceeded most galactic wars in casualties and destruction. Mitchell continued. These were only our largest conflicts. We fought hundreds of smaller wars. Each one refined our doctrine, improved our weapons, taught U.S. new ways to kill efficiently. By the time we reached the stars, humanity had accumulated over 5,000 years of near constant warfare. Captain Harper stood next. His weathered face showed the weight of what he was about to explain. The Council interpreted human anti-war sentiment as weakness. This reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of human psychology. He gestured to the holographic display. Images of war memorials appeared, walls carved with millions of names, eternal flames burning for the fallen, cemeteries stretching to horizons. We build these monuments not because we fear war. We build them because we survived war and carry the memories. Our peace movements are not led by the timid. They are led by veterans who saw combat, by civilians who survived bombardment, by people who understand exactly what war costs. Commander Blake took over, his security officer's perspective adding tactical context. Most galactic species evolved with natural predators. You understand survival, conflict, territorial disputes, dominance, hierarchies, but few species experienced what humans call total war. The display showed strategic map, supply lines spanning continents, industrial centers converted to weapons, production, civilian populations mobilized for war effort. Total war means entire civilizations dedicated to destruction, every factory producing weapons, every farm feeding armies, every citizen contributing to the war. Machine humans discovered how to make warfare into science, how to optimize killing, how to coordinate millions of individuals toward single military objectives. Blake paused and met Vexter's gaze. We learned to be very good at war, so good that we nearly destroyed ourselves, and that terrified us into seeking alternatives. Ambassador. Channel rose from her platform. Her gentle species had supported humanity throughout. The Council should have consulted with us. We studied human culture more carefully. We recognized what others missed. Human restraint is not weakness. It is the restraint of a loaded weapon choosing not to fire. She gestured toward the human delegation. They colonized death worlds, planets with gravity that would crush most species, atmospheres that would poison us, predators that would tear us apart, and they call these places home. Does this sound like a fearful species? Grant reclaimed the floor. The Council made a dangerous error. You assume that because we remember war's horror, we cannot wage war effectively. But humans remember because we were devastatingly good at it. Our emotional response comes from intimate knowledge of what we are capable of. Vexter tried to regain control. Your military forces are small. This suggests we learned our lesson. Grant interrupted sharply. We maintain exactly enough force to defend ourselves. No more. Because we know what happens when we build massive militaries. They get used resources that should feed children, get spent on weapons, scientific minds that should cure diseases, design better ways to kill. She pulled up human fleet specifications on the display. The ships at Outpost 7 represent 5% of Earth's total military capability. We maintain defensive fleets at Earth, Luna, Mars, the outer colonies, system, defense platforms, patrol vessels, and yes, warships, all kept at minimum necessary levels. General Croth appeared via communication link from his medical facility. His insectoid form showed signs of the injuries sustained during the battle. His presence caused murmuring throughout the chamber. Vexter addressed him directly. General Krath, you engaged human forces. Describe what occurred. Krath's mandibles clicked slowly. We underestimated them. I underestimated them. I commanded 12 warships against a mining outpost and 2 patrol vessels. I expected easy victory. And? Vexter prompted. They destroyed 8 of my ships in under 30 minutes, disabled my flagship, forced surrender, and then rescued my crews with the same efficiency they used to defeat us. The chamber erupted in shocked discussion. Various species talking over each other. The numbers seemed impossible. Krath continued. Their weapons are not more advanced than ours. They are more optimized, every system designed for one purpose, killing. Other ships, their tactics are not innovative. They are perfected, refined through countless iterations, tested in thousands of battles. He paused, and his next words silenced the chamber. They were not even trying hard. The task force that defeated us was not their main battle fleet. Those were escort ships, patrol vessels, garrison forces. I asked about their full military capability, and what? Vexter demanded. Commander Blake answered, and we politely declined to provide those specifications. But General Krath understood. If our escorts could disable his fleet, our actual warships would be excessive. Grant drove the point home. The Council wanted to know if we could sustain military operations. The answer is yes. Earth can mobilize industrial capacity that terrifies us because we remember what happened last time we did factories converting to weapons, production shipyards building warcraft instead of explorers, scientific research turned toward destruction instead of discovery. She looked around the chamber. We know how to do these things. We just choose not to. That choice is not weakness. It is wisdom bought with blood. Counselor from the Corn species spoke. Ambassador Grant. How should the Council interpret human military capability going forward? Grant considered her answer carefully. Interpret it as you would any capable species that prefers peace. We have no desire for conquest, no interest in domination. We want to explore, to learn, to contribute to galactic civilization, but we will defend ourselves and we will protect the innocent. She paused, and her voice hardened. And do not mistake our preference for peace as inability to fight. We remember war because we cannot afford to forget. We dread it because we understand exactly how effective we are at it. 1 month passed since the emergency council session, and the galaxy had settled into a new equilibrium. The Galactic Council formally recognized all human territorial claims. The Thororian Empire paid reparations to the injured colonists and withdrew their military forces from the disputed sectors. General Kraft lost his command and now served in a quiet administrative position far from any frontier ambassador. Nicole Grant returned to Earth for consultations. She walked through Geneva's diplomatic quarter where she had trained decades earlier. The city looked the same, but everything felt different. Humanity's place in the galaxy had fundamentally shifted. President Amanda Sterling met her in a private garden away from listening devices and diplomatic protocols. The council respects us now, that is what you wanted. But at what cost? Grant interrupted. We demonstrated our capacity for violence. Some species fear us, now others watch us with suspicion. I worry we lost something in translation. Sterling considered this. We lost the illusion that we could be accepted without proving ourselves. Perhaps that illusion was never realistic. The galaxy respects strength. We showed ours while maintaining our principles. That balance matters on New Haven Colony. Dr. Lauren Mitchell sat in the hospital garden with young Megan Foster. The child's injuries had healed remarkably well. Her arm was out of its cast, and she was using it to draw pictures of purple flowers. Dr. Mitchell, are the bad aliens gone? Megan asked while coloring. Mitchell chose her words carefully. The aliens who hurt you have left, but Megan, they were not bad because they were aliens. They were bad because they made cruel choices. Some aliens are kind. Some humans are cruel. It is about choices, not about species. Sarah Foster joined them with drinks. She looked at Mitchell with gratitude mixed with something harder. Thank you for protecting her, for protecting all of us. I know you prefer peace. I know this was not what you wanted. No, Mitchell agreed quietly. But wanting peace does not mean accepting victimization. I am still learning that lesson. Captain Daniel Harper and Commander Ryan Blake stood on the bridge of the Meridian watching New Haven through the view screen. The colony had returned to normal life. Children played in the streets. Farmers tended their fields. Researchers studied the local ecosystem. How long until the next incident? Blake asked. Harper sighed. There will always be next incidents. Beings testing boundaries, misunderstanding intentions, making poor choices. Our job is to maintain credible deterrence while keeping our own values intact. Can we do both? We have to. The alternative is becoming what we fought against or being victims. Neither option is acceptable. Blake nodded and pulled up patrol schedules. Human defensive posture had shifted subtly. More regular patrols, better sensor coverage, faster response capabilities, not aggressive expansion, but clear presence on Earth. Fleet Admiral Brandon Cole met with his senior staff in the Secure Command Center. They reviewed engagement reports from Outpost 7 with professional detachment. Recommendations? Cole asked after the analysis concluded. Admiral Patricia Wong spoke first. Our doctrine work coordination between vessels proved effective. Kinetic weapons surprised them exactly as predicted. But, Cole prompted. We got lucky. They underestimated us. Next time opponents will know what we can do. They will prepare countermeasures. We cannot rely on surprise and contempt working in our favor. Cole agreed. Begin quiet upgrades, improve point defense, enhance electronic warfare. Nothing flashy, nothing that looks like military build up, just steady improvement. And remember, our goal is never to need these capabilities. Defense Minister Carlos Hunt added his perspective. Congress wants to expand the fleet. Public opinion supports increased military spending. After the attack on civilians, we need to resist that pressure. A larger military creates its own momentum toward conflict. Cole nodded firmly. Agreed. We maintain minimum effective force. Anything more, and we start looking like conquerors instead of defenders. that changes how others see us, and eventually how we see ourselves. The meeting concluded with orders to continue current posture. Humanity would remain strong, enough to defend itself, but would not pursue military dominance. The balance was delicate but essential. Ambassador Chanel visited Earth for the first time since the conflict. Her peaceful species had long wondered about the death world that produced humanity. She walked through Geneva, Paris, Tokyo, experiencing human cities with their chaotic energy and creative diversity. Dar Mitchell served as her guide, taking her to museums and monuments, explaining human culture through the lens of someone still reconciling what she had learned. They stood before a memorial wall covered with names from an ancient war. Millions of individuals reduced to carved letters. Chanel features showed deep sadness. "You remember them all?" she asked. We build these walls, so we cannot forget, cannot dismiss the cost, cannot reduce casualties to mere statistics." Chanel touched the cold stone. "Other species celebrate their warriors, build monuments to victory. You build monuments to loss. We celebrate survival. We honor sacrifice, but we never celebrate war itself. War is failure. It means we could not find better solutions. The people died for problems we should have solved differently." They walked through peace gardens planted on former battlefields. The contrast was deliberate beauty grown from scarred earth life replacing death. Chanel finally spoke what she had been considering. "Your species frightened some council members. Now they see your military capability and imagine conquest, expansion, domination." Mitchell stopped walking. "Do you believe we seek those things?" "No, but I understand their fear. Humanity has power and restraint. That combination is unusual. Most species either lack power or lack restraint. Having both makes you unpredictable. How do we prove our intentions remain peaceful?" Xiao smiled. "You already do. You rescue your enemies. You treat injured Therorians with the same care as your own. You seek cooperation, even after demonstrating capability. These actions speak clearly." Later, Mitchell arranged for Chanel to meet with human veterans, former soldiers who had experienced combat and carried its weight. Tyler Jackson was among them, a former Marine, who now taught conflict resolution. "Ambassador Chanel, I understand you have questions about human military psychology," Tyler said as they sat in a quiet cafe. "If war costs you so much mentally, emotionally, why are you so effective at it?" Tyler considered his answer while stirring his coffee. "Because when we fight, it is for something that matters more than our own comfort, for family, for home, for people who cannot protect themselves. That motivation makes us fierce. But the efficiency, the tactical sophistication, comes from hard lessons learned. Over millennia, every mistake cost lives, so we studied, we improved, we built doctrine from blood and experience. We became good at war because the alternative was extinction." Chanel asked the question that haunted her. "Will humanity fight again?" Tyler met her gaze steadily. "We hope to never need to, but if something threatens innocence, if peace cannot be found, then yes, humans will fight, because we know how and we know why." Back at the Galactic Council Station, Ambassador Grant attended a smaller session focused on trade, agreements, and cultural exchanges. The atmosphere had changed dramatically. Other species listened when humans spoke, proposals were taken seriously, objections were respected. High Counselor Vexter approached her after the session. His reptilian posture showed something that might have been regret. "Ambassador Grant, the Council wishes to formally apologize for its previous dismissive attitude toward human concerns." Grant accepted with measured grace. "The Council's recognition of its error is appreciated. Humanity seeks partnership, not dominance. We hope this incident taught lessons that prevent future conflicts. Some counselors worry that humanity will seek revenge for past slights. Expand aggressively now that your capabilities are known." Grant's response was firm. "Those counselors do not understand us. We do not desire revenge. We desire respect. We demonstrated capability only because we were forced to. Our preference has always been peaceful cooperation. Vexter nodded slowly. The council is learning, though, perhaps. We should have listened earlier. Your ambassador Shianel tried to warn us. She understands that surface observations miss deeper truths. Humanity's emotional response to war comes from wisdom, not weakness. Our restraint is choice, not limitation. These concepts seem simple, but are easily misunderstood. The counselor departed, and Grant returned to her quarters. She recorded a message for the historical archive, her thoughts on the month's events, and what they meant for humanity's future. We did not choose this confrontation, but we responded with measured force. We protected our people while maintaining our principles. We demonstrated capability without pursuing conquest. This balance defines who we are. Warriors who prefer peace, strong beings who choose gentleness, survivors who remember the cost. On New Haven Colony, the evening sun cast purple light across the landscape. Families gathered for community dinners. Children played games in the streets. Researchers compared notes on local flora life. Had returned to its peaceful rhythm. Commander Jacob Martinez stood on the administration building's roof, watching his colony. Outpost 7 had been repaired. The patrol ships had returned to their regular routes. Defensive platforms maintained their quiet vigilance. Kevin Walsh joined him. Think they will test us again? Martinez shrugged. Some species will. Curiosity or stupidity will drive someone to probe our defenses. But I think most learned